Okay. Man, this is wild. Somebody
was on
taking
the
charge
ball,
and
right?
getting things set up. Okay, I'm gonna back up a little bit, otherwise you won't be able to hear me. My physical therapist told me not to put my ankle over my knee. It's gonna mess up my knee, so I'll have to do this.
Sorry, one more time.
Have to learn everything all over. I'm Roland McRae. I'm, at least for the time being, chair of the Gaelic League here in Austin. The group got started in late 1993 here, in 1893 in Dublin, as an attempt to revive the language, which was in serious trouble at that time. Some of the guys who started that, like Patrick Pearce and some of the others, went on to become more and more aggressively nationalistic and lead the Easter Rebellion in 1916. But it perked along, and it's still going today. Fortunately, today there are all kinds of language initiatives going on for the Irish language. The publishing industry in the last 20 years has exploded, from some of the dry little alt-text things that were attempts at the language to really beautiful. I mean, we only have a small selection over there, but they're just incredible. Some retellings of the old legends in modern Irish that a 14-year-old boy could really dig into. You know, people getting their eyes knocked out of their head and whatever. But in all phases, from people who are serious grammarians who always want to freeze a language. It's not on here, but one of the expressions that's a standard set phrase is "Lá brecha sona dech," day of birth happy to you. Happy birthday, right? Well, somebody who knows a lot more Irish than I ever will is a teacher at New York University. And it was her birthday, and so I said to her, "Lá brecha intak dech," a wonderful birthday to you. And a guy from Montreal said, "Lá brecha sona dech," these are set phrases. I said, "Do you understand how contrary that is to the whole Celtic soul, that you can only say things one way?" I don't think so. I said, "That's an innate, contrarian, innovative, whatever." And he said, "Well, now that she said it was great." He said, "Well, if you put it that way, I'm a bit of a contrarian myself, so maybe I've freed up his shackles a little bit along the way." The Irish language is one of the oldest spoken languages in Europe, dating back in a continuous line of evolution from whatever became continental Gaeilge and separated out into continental Celtic and Ibero-Celtic. And the Celts that came to Ireland probably, by all evidence now, came through the Iberian Peninsula and probably landed around Cork maybe 5,000–6,000 years ago. Doesn't necessarily mean they were the first ones on the island, but it hadn't been that long since the island was covered in ice, and the English Channel was totally frozen over and all of that. So there were people there before them, and they have legends about the Tuatha De Danann and the Firbolgs and things like that. But their language was in a continuous state of evolution. It wasn't overwritten by anything else. And as happens with anything, you throw a rock in a pond, the ripples go out. The oldest ripples are the ones that furthest out. So the traces of that original language are strongest in Ireland, parts of Scotland, which is really, their Scots Gaelic evolved from Irish Gaelic. But there are traces of that language way out on the edges in India. Certainly the Gauls were all over the place. St. Paul's letter to the Galatians were Gauls down in Turkey. The other branch of the language, and so you have the one branch of the Gaelic languages is Irish, Scots Gaelic, and Manx on the Isle of Man.